All right, everyone, welcome to this daily sidereal forecast. So today, an important day, and tomorrow in the astrology, we've got Jupiter retrograde opposite Uranus. So this is the second aspect we've had. We had this starting back in late December of last year. So at that time, if you can recall, if there was anything that you felt like inspired to do, maybe make some changes in your life to have a bit more freedom. This is now going through the re-examination phase of it. Essentially, usually with aspects like this, we have three. And so the first one's when we first get introduced into it, which was late in December. But the second one is this reflection, reconsideration. And the reason is the planet, in this case Jupiter, is retrograde, going back over this position. So with any retrograde planet, it's always some sort of reevaluation. If there's been anything specifically that you felt inspired towards, maybe reworking that as well. And just sort of reconsidering too what it means to have freedom in our life and build a life that is more of a reflection of what we're about. So we'll look at that in more detail, but today the moon does shift into Aries, which does give us a bit of boost with a bit of motivation perhaps, or at the very least a bit of independence. Very good for personal needs, very good for having that direct energy in life and taking action, even though there's a lot of dissolving energy still. You know, the moon is just now coming out of Pisces, but and that's how it's been the past few days, very watery. But the sun is still going to be very close to Neptune here today as well. So our outer focus and our reality on things just sort of dissolves during this type of aspect, and it is good to still go within, even though the theme, I think, is going to be a bit about energy and motivation, or again, at least that independence. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this in more detail. All right, so in a larger context, you know, just last Sunday we did have that solar eclipse. So it is good to consider the fact that it is a great part of the week, especially now with the moon in Aries, to, yes, get some things moving. Specifically, if there was anything that you felt was released last weekend or earlier in the week that has cleared a bit of space, and maybe again feeling a bit inspired to cultivate with this lunar and solar cycle that has just started. So yeah, great with Aries too for anything that does involve our own personal needs, independence, action, energy. You know, it is about taking those initial steps anyways. So in terms of the aspects, the most important, Jupiter opposite Uranus. We got two very slow moving planets, which does signify very important shifts collectively. And so yes, since late November, now we have the second aspect with this. So very good to, you know, move things forward and really learn through action and through a bit of flexibility and adaptability, and kind of see where things are taking us. And in this case, for our freedom. So with this one, even, you know, because it is an opposition, it does give us a bit of imbalance. So if you are feeling the extremes of either Uranus or Jupiter, perhaps a bit of restlessness with Uranus, feeling restricted or impulsive, probably for those potentials, or if you're feeling a bit optimistic, over-optimistic, you know, that kind of thing, wanting to go to extremes there, you know, it is about balance. And I think that's a really good way of working with this opposition, is to, yes, expand our life, to create more freedom in our life, and again, create a life that is more of an expression of what we're about, but really just change what's necessary. You know, sometimes we can change a bit too much or create disruptions in our life because we're really wanting that freedom. And again, it comes across as positive with Jupiter. This is very important to understand. Any aspect with Jupiter, even harsh ones, come across usually as positive, that we're feeling like this is a positive thing. And it is, obviously, all the aspects are. But in this case, I think just remembering that this is about balance, watching any extremes, and, you know, just changing what's necessary is a great way of working with this. So yeah, breaking free can be great to cultivate those potentials, implement a bit of freedom in our life, expand in new ways, open our mind to new possibilities. You know, Jupiter is the planet of our belief systems. Uranus is the planet of innovation, progressiveness, seeing things in a new way. So expanding our worldview can be great as well. All right, so that's very important. Again, Jupiter retrograde, just remembering that usually when Jupiter does go direct, it does tend to make it a bit more expansive because Jupiter going direct is more about the outer reality mirroring that. But in this case, Jupiter's retrograde. So this is more of an internal process, maybe more feeling the freedom, feeling the possibilities. And that's exactly what we want to do is go within, kind of reflect on things, maybe redo some things, rework some things with Virgo. Virgo's all about the work and the details of things. And yeah, with that perspective, I think it's a great time. We could be, again, learning about these potentials. And with what we learn, things are taking on a new direction this week with them. So it is going to go exact in the later part of the day. So again, it's going to be today and tomorrow, more than likely, in terms of us feeling that. Today's still a bit of that nebulousness, that dreaminess, that dissolving of our outer reality and our outer focus. That's been the Sun over Neptune. So that's dissipating as the day unfolds, but still very good for, again, going within for the answers and just seeing that there are these receptive qualities of life that we can implement, whether it's in our personal life, such as through going with the ebb and flow of things, being receptive to where things are going and then putting energy into the areas that are flowing. Might be in our interpersonal relationships through compassion, understanding, that type of receptivity. And also, again, great for creativity, imagination, because we do have that dreamy sort of nature here today. So definitely a pivotal day in terms of how things are shifting out of what was a very watery first half of the week, shifting into a bit more of an active one, especially as we go into tomorrow and really get outside of that orb with the Sun and Neptune. But nonetheless, yes, very important part of the week for that change, for freedom, for maybe cultivating some possibilities in our life that we felt inspired towards, not even just since late December, but maybe the second half of 2015, second half of 2016 of last year. And that's because that's when Jupiter entered Virgo, just symbolizing the same sort of areas of life. In fact, you can check your weekly to see which area of life that is through your houses. All right, and then we do have some minor lunar aspects. I would say mostly the second half, Moon sextiles Mercury. I think we do have a bit of open-mindedness. Could be good for learning, and that really goes hand in hand with this shift to our perspective and, again, our belief systems about what's possible and having more freedom in our life. All right, so I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.